Hey guys, welcome into our second Battle Brothers Serpent Cup eSport tournament. Today, I'm joined here with my partner in crime, Shinobi.
Always a pleasure.
Yep.
Can't wait for this competition.
Heck yeah, man. And so with this tournament, guys, it's going to be an interesting thing. If you guys haven't already seen the first tournament, highly suggest going back and checking it out. But Shinobi, tell us about this tournament a little bit.
So again, we've got 4 guys participating in the Serpent Cup going head-to-head today, doing their best to grab points in our many different metrics that we use to score up their runs.
And so basically, with these different players here, we're going to talk about them individually, but today's combatants are going to be JaugerPlays, MrMeepo, rockprime, and Sherbert. And so these guys are going to go head-to-head for the crown, of course. So what we need to check out now is look on the screen. If you see, or as you'll see, the company origin they're going to be picking right now. Let's see what they end up going with. And it looks like the Band of Poachers. Band of Poachers is what it's going to end up being. How about that? This one is going to be interesting. Shinobi, what do you think about the Band of Poachers?
You know, I gotta say, not one of my favorite runs. Starting with 3 archers can be a huge detriment if you get caught early before you can get a couple of meat shields up front. However, that movement speed, gotta love it.
Oh, 100%. I think when you have those 3 archers, you have to understand what the best category is and how you're going to do this. Like getting a cheaper brothers just to fodder or not, they're just getting somebody up front with a shield to protect these guys. I wouldn't recommend going in right off the bat and just taking on the world with the 3 archers, because it can get ugly pretty fast. I could see this one being one where guys are just, they're just losing people. You know what I mean? That's really the biggest
right
thing.
up, down, and sideways.
Oh,
and another thing to look at is the decreased inventory size that they're going to be working with here. You can't just stock up on things and sell them at the end of the game.
Oh, right. Yeah, no doubt. That's definitely a real huge part of this. Right now, they do have the map seed going in. It looks like it's Lucky Do. Lucky Do, all lowercase.
Enough O's finally in that map seed.
There he goes. He's in the map seed. He's got it.
7 to 9 of them.
Had a little bit of technical difficulties on that end. Nonetheless, once they all get set up here, you can see the flavored text across the screen. Everybody's on the same thing. Everything should be exactly the same. You see the patch of trees out to the west. Interestingly enough, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it, who's going to go to what town, just how things are going to get kicked off. This is going to be one where I could just see it going straight downhill for a lot of guys.
Absolutely. And with the Band of Poachers, you got to keep it tight formation, keep moving back is usually what I do in this situation. Always be retreating a little bit. You've got the range advantage in almost 100% of these early fights.
Yes. All right. Well, now that they're all set up, we're going to get rolling into this in 3, 2, 1. Good luck, gentlemen. All right.
Oh, I can't wait to see how they go. As we saw in the last one, 3 of our 4 competitors struck out east, and we've got 2 heading east, heading the same way.
Yes.
There's a 3rd.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, it looks like MrMeepo still weighing his options.
Yeah, looking at the whole screen here. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what each one of these guys are going to do. He's kind of getting bearings of the map to see whereabouts he's located. If he's way farther north or south, it's all going to matter at the end of the day, depending on how it goes. But yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out here. They're all going through, looking at their gear, looking at brothers already. It looks like on the side of the screen here on this left-hand side, you'll notice everybody is just checking out what's there. You got to go for the cheaper guys. Yes, you are on high funds, but you got to be careful. Be careful.
I'm really interested to see if these guys are going to take similar quests right off the bat. As you see, Jauger's already gone through, read all of them, weighing his options, deciding with his brothers which one he can take, which is something that he's always done. We've done a few test runs with Jauger, and he's another very meticulous, calculated player. Doesn't take very many risks.
Yeah, so yeah, since we're on that topic there, What is our so let's start with Jager then. Let's talk a little bit more about Jager here. We've seen him in the practice trials and seeing what he's capable of. He's very consistent and stuff. Where do you see him shaking out against the competition today?
So Yager is a slow and steady, wins the race kind of guy with a few tricks up his sleeve that I'm not going to get too much into just in case he doesn't pull them out. But he has done some very interesting things as the run winds down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that as well. He is kind of he's always got something going on. He's always trying to figure out the next way that he can try to gain more points in the end, and it has worked in his favor a few times. How about MrMeepo? What do we know about him? How do you feel about him in this one?
I think that this one, MrMeepo, is going to be our wild man. If we thought in the last tournament Baba Ganoush was a risk it for the biscuit kind of guy, MrMeepo kicks that up tenfold. I'm used to seeing him take wild risks and watching them pay dividends for him. Someone to definitely keep our eye on once he gets in battle and starts building up his force.
Yeah, and for me, when I look at Meepo, something that I admire about him is he doesn't stop fighting, and he knows when things are starting to fold, and he'll make his retreat. I respect that because while he does end up getting really risky and he gets really on, or he goes on point for the attack, he will back out and he'll like pull one brother back while the battle's commencing, knowing that this one brother might not have much of a case for this fight, or he'll even leave one guy in his reserve, so if he ends up dying, if everybody gets wiped, he still has a party member that can carry on the fight. So
absolutely phenomenal points there with Meepo. You know, he's never one that you can count out of this competition, no matter how low. As long as he's got one brother, he's still in it to win it.
For sure. Now, as you guys can see on the screen before we get to Rock Prime and Sherbert, you can see that they're all taking on the same quest here. The 7 brigands. You got Sherbert down in the hills there, and then you also have the flat plains when it comes to Jager and Rock Prime. While this is commencing here, why don't we talk about Rock Prime real quick? Some thoughts there.
Rock Prime is a fairly new member to the Discord, and he has come in with a bang. The guy has gotten very involved. He's taken part in a couple of these practice runs and performed very admirably. He's a guy that likes to keep a core group of brothers together. Look for him to not take risks, to not lose many brothers, and have a very good score and levels at the end of the game.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, and from my side of it too, he is one of a kind, awesome guy. But when it comes to these tournaments and stuff, he again is a grinder. He admits when he's wrong, and he does what he can to correct these mistakes. I'm curious to see how this pans out today because I've seen two sides of the coin. We just need to see what the consistency mark ends up landing on. With that being said, let's talk about Sherbert then. What do we know about Sherbert?
Sherbert, I think, could be the horse that wins this race. Come from behind victory. We've seen him in previous test runs go belly up right away, lose his company, and then come back and still place well, even with the 4-point deficit and the lack of time. So if he can keep it together, this is a guy that can definitely win it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, to start here, he does have four archers, and he is kind of getting bared down on. This is the fear of having so many archers compared to men that can hold the line. But there's plenty of time. We'll have to see what ends up happening there. Sherbert, for me, is one of those guys where when he started, he was very, very slow. Very, very slow. Trying to figure out what he wanted to do. Taking those caravan missions and stuff. But as time has progressed, I don't know. We'll have to see how it shakes out. I'm not sure how this is going to end. At least in the moment, but yeah, he
feels like he's
has
still
a
working
chance.
on his. Yeah, it feels like he's still working on his tournament strategy. Whereas in the last run, we saw Gordon come in with what seemed to be a very refined strategy, even for his first appearance in our inaugural cup.
Right. Yeah, and it's gonna be something to watch. But this is not looking good. It looks like Rock Prime might be out here. Oh no.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? He's making me look bad here.
Well, this is the thing. This is why the origin is so important. You don't know what origin you're going to be thrown into, and I feel like this is one of those origins that a lot of people get caught up on to start. It's a very difficult first origin to come by for this simple reason. Oh wait. Oh, he's going to quit. He's straight up gonna take the
Yep.
loss. There was a guy running
Taking a
away.
lot,
He's like,
starting over.
but you know what? And this, we're getting close to 6 minutes here, which means not a bad idea to just count your losses. You're gonna take the -4 points, and look at him just flying through. He is going as quickly as he can. So we got our first guy going out. Restart, -4 points for his final score. Meanwhile, looking at some of these other ones, I gotta say I am very surprised. I'm very surprised by Sherbert. He is pulling this one out. I thought he was in a terrible position, losing one guy so far. We'll have to see how that pans out for him.
Yeah, that battle has definitely turned around in a way that I didn't think was possible at that point.
Yeah,
That's what RNG in this game does.
right. It either is for you or against you, and it looks like JaugerPlays,
Yep.
for a guy who's very consistent on these pursuits. Yeah, he is in an interesting position too. He could be one to have to start over early. I don't know. I think what ultimately went through rockprime's head on this was the fact that, hey, if I take the loss now, it's only 5 minutes in. Yes, it's 4 points, but I think I can make up for that difference. There's still a chance. Remember, if Gordon had in our inaugural cup, if Gordon had restarted and started after 5 points, he probably would have ended up doing the same. Assuming that he did the same thing, he still would have won that cup. So it's just a matter of,
with points to spare still.
right. So it's just a matter of sitting back and hoping for the best for these guys.
So it's been really, really weird to see the struggles that most of our guys have had with this start. Not something we saw in the last one, which I thought we were going to. The cultist, very unpredictable start, and those guys all really had a strong first half.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a different breed, and that's what makes these tournaments so unique. Is in that exact fashion, is that you just don't know. I mean, how people are going to handle it, or what the challenges are going to present itself. And with cultists, yeah, the cultist is one of those ones that is very difficult. So for the guys to have handled it as valiant as they did, it's nice to see. Like, you can't count out any of these origins, just simply put.
So I've got to point out, Puggo, Sherbert is practicing one of his rituals that we've seen in the test runs, where he strips all of his men down and huddles them together for a bonding experience.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a
I
beautiful.
think that's really going to raise the morale.
100%. Yeah, no, it's interesting that, like, just the different strategies really gaining the most out of your guys, seeing what they're able to take on. It's just a matter how much are you investing in these guys? Where are they going to be when the clock comes 30 minutes or 30 or an hour? Yeah, so we're going to have to see. The amazing thing is the establishment between 30 minutes compared to an hour, because our updates get very, very wild. You'll see so much difference in these different strategies, of course.
And just want to point out with rockprime's restart there, unfortunately he gets himself one of those statistics to be the first man out of competition in these cups.
Oh yeah, he does have officially the first person ever to hit that mark. That'll definitely be something we're gonna have to go over at some point, or because if you remember, Despicable Dick ended up getting the first kill with his fist. It's the first person to do that.
Yep.
First person to get a brother with 3 stars across the board, like 3 stars in 3 different categories. That's a first. And unfortunately, this one you probably don't want, but you know what? What is it?
Record books are record books.
Right.
No publicity is bad publicity, right?
Right. And sadly, right now, rockprime's in another very difficult scenario. I'm curious. I think he'll be okay. Oh, wow.
Oh, there it goes. Look at that morale break.
Morale checks across the board.
RNG. Bam. There he goes.
Yeah.
That's the start he needed last time. Look at that.
Oh, man. I did not feel like that was going to be the case, but hey, good for him. You notice, too, Jager's kind of making his way through the valley here, seeing what towns he can come by. Maybe just... He's very cautious here. Yep. Trying to find those towns.
I gotta say, probably not a bad strategy with this increased movement speed. Drum up some of those villages. Get out there. Maybe head south. Hit the arena up.
Right. And then just looking at it right now, I'm keeping an eye on Meepo's run here. He's in an interesting situation. He's doing the strategy of run away. Yeah, just like keeping the one guy away, taking his shots. It's a dangerous. This is a very, like we said before, guys, this is one of the hardest starts because of, yes, it's great to have archers, but he has to risk.
Not just archers.
Yeah, he has to risk taking those injuries to get away, and oh boy.
You know, with this start, I'd really like to see one of our competitors using the runner bro tactic that we saw in the last round.
Oh, by Severus. Severus
Yes,
ended up
by
doing
Severus.
it. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps. I think the one thing that I feel like it does pull away from when you do that tactic is time. If you're doing it in every single fight, it might come back on you a little bit because of that time frame. You're pulling people away, you're getting those kills, and then you're waiting for them to re-engage, and then having to kill those guys as well. Yes, it's efficient, but sometimes, I don't know, it's really tough. It really depends on how you play. If you can make up that time on the battlefield itself, that's a different story. But
It's all up to the RNG at that point.
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to account for. Man, Meepo is in that situation though where it's
Oh,
he had
let's
those
look at
guys-
those two. Where'd those two come from?
Yeah, they were running away and then they came back, so
Oh, that's no good.
oh man, this is interesting to see what's gonna happen. He's kind of weighing his options, obviously, but oof.
4-on-3. I think he can still pull this one off without too much.
But if he's not getting those hits, he's got that 46% chance. He's got to hit these. He's got to hit this guy here.
Oh, we've got Rock Prime Assaulting.
Okay, good deal.
A Brigand base.
Ooh. Got ourselves a base at the bottom here. I'm going to keep it on the open screen so you guys can see both sides of it. I'm really curious about Meepo here, though. This could be, even. I mean, yes, he may survive, but yeah, this is, well, one of the guys is, well, at least one of them is willing to run. Oof. Look, he's going to make
now
it.
that he's got out of that range of the pitchfork, that's really going to help those two next to him with their survivability.
Right. Yeah, I think he's going to make it. It's just, it's tough. I mean, it's very tough at this point in the game. I don't know how much money he has, but this fight is dragged on a little bit. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on there. So he's going to make it out of that. That's good. Let's head back down to Rock Prime, making his resilient comeback. Oh, man. Oof. I didn't realize the pole arm on the bottom side, that's kind of rough. That is a rough deal.
That is a rough deal.
Kills. Oh man, he's just got to get those hits. Shot to the head's going to be really rough for him. Otherwise,
oh,
yeah,
there it is. That was nice.
Yep, some good shots going on there, taking out that guy. Let's. We got our first beast fight down with Sherbert. So Sherbert's still running with his 6 guys rather, and this is tough. This is really tough because in this particular fight, you have to hurt the enemy, then stand on their bodies. You only have 3 brothers to do so, and they're walking in with their 6. You know, you have only archers. When they get to the archers, that's when you need to really start questioning things. If one of your brothers does die, you can see he's doing that spread out tactic right now, and that's pretty wise as well because they can catch the Noxier in between, even if they touch the archers. Oh no, he broke it. I thought he was gonna spread out.
And you know, I was really hoping to see that because if he gets a level 2 at the state of his company right now, that could be an easy game over.
Oh, easily, yes. Yeah, he's kind of weighing his options at the moment. It's a tough one. He does have the advantage of 1 spear. Using a spear wall, holding them off, that's going to be key as well. We'll just keep an eye on that.
The way these guys archers dancing around, not staying still, not taking 2 shots. It's a smart way.
Yeah, well, in this fight in particular, you really got to do it, because if you take 1 shot and they engage, you're done. Especially if you don't have a backup weapon. I think a lot of these guys took the backup weapons off, sold them, or are keeping them on some of these other brothers. It's a tough call. It's definitely a tough call. He's kind of weighing his options. We'll just have to see what happens. Looking at JaugerPlays, though, he had a little bit of a moment.
And there he goes, scurrying away from the barbarians.
Yep, the thralls. 2 packs of thralls ended up coming up, and he's like just situating himself. This is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out. He's starting to switch up the gear a little bit, get these guys more prepared to take it on. I think he's going to actually do it, but I don't know if
I hope so.
I wonder if he
You know,
saw
like
there was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully that he does take them on, and we can see some javelins come out like we did in the last match. Those were really, really a boon for our players early on.
Oh, for sure. That was a big part of it. But yes, he is going on against the Barbarians. If you look down here real quick, though, Sherbert is really in a situation here too. Now he's got one guy who's really injured. These archers have to nail these shots. They have to help out this one brother, otherwise it could be kind of rough, because the archers are the next wave, and with them stepping on the bodies, you can't really move much at this point.
No, not at all. And really, a morale break for these might be one of the things that can save his day if he can get that one at top to fall.
Right. Oof.
Hate to see that.
Yep, and that's where the issues start to arise. He's got to kill that one right there now. Okay, good. Now that one brother has to hold him in place or he gets the kills. It looks like he's going to pull that one out. Those things have injuries anyways, and he does.
Very good. He does.
Yep. All right, back over to JaugerPlays. So now, this is funny because we just talked about these throwing weapons, and look how effective it is against his early game brothers.
Yeah, those first couple headshots early game when you're just wearing hoods or straw hats, really, really trouble that you got to watch out for with the barbarian thralls.
Yeah, if he can take advantage of this, get those kills, put those throwing weapons on his his archers already, that's going to be huge. Archers already having the range is a massive upgrade. Get rid of the sling for the debuffs. You know, that unless you're higher in range skill or using fast adaptation, for instance, it's something you need to work on or be able to switch out. It's going to be interesting to see what he does.
And without the throwing mastery, the damage on the sling isn't anything to write home about.
Right. Yeah, I believe, if I'm correct, I think it's 20 to 40 damage, something to that effect. I can pull that up here. But nonetheless, the throwing weapons just in general are going to be your better bet if you end up doing that. So.
Yeah, 25 to 40 on the staff sling.
Yeah, 25. Yep, I see that. 25 to 40. Definitely, and of course, really low. Yeah. Either way, we know that you're definitely going to get more out of your throwing axes if he can accumulate them here. Let's see what he ended up getting. Okay, so he did end up getting 2 of them. That's huge. That is huge. Let's see how we'll have to wait and see how he effectively puts them on his brothers.
Yeah, it's going to be a real shame if he doesn't utilize those right away, at least on his sling bro. That's still 2 more groups of barbarians there. There were 3 groups of barbarians. Is Jauger going after another one? That's crazy, man.
He might be going after the 5. That's not terrible, especially if there's dogs in there as well. Dogs just pretty much run themselves in. It's funny, though. We got Meepo over here. He's kind of going through the same scenario, except for 9 brigands, and I think the other one was a pack of 10. So, oh, man. These guys are coming across the works here.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch our guys get chased around the map this time around, whereas last time they were definitely the predators.
Right. One of the interesting things, Sherbert just used some of his money to be able to get the steel hook. I can't remember the name exactly, but he's using the steel hook on the back line now. He ended up buying that for a cheaper price. He's kind of moving things around, but again, if he can make that work out, that's a dangerous weapon. I mean, that'll work out great in the early game. Kind of get guys the whole post.
The first tier bill hook.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So then we have ourselves. If we go down here, Rock Prime, he got this fight a little earlier on. He's taking him out, no problem. This is the thing about Rock Prime. This is what I've seen for the second time. Rock Prime is the type of guy who pretty much puts his whole foot in the water, realizes it's cold, and then goes to the hot tub and just like slowly gets in. It's very interesting. He's one of those guys that he it's like this is the second time I've seen him play where he lost and he came back with vengeance. Look at his group compared to, I mean, just in general. I feel like it's a very strong, very solid set from where he was.
You know, a lot of athletes out there in the world, professional fighters, boxers, that need to get hit a couple of times before they wake up and get into the fight.
And that's exactly what he's doing, and that's what he needs. with the 4 points. Oh. All right, so then we have ourselves the barbarians. We're looking at JaugerPlays. He's got 5 of the barbarians running off. He was trying to get the 7 to stop following. The 5 are running, the 7 are, which is funny. The 5 are running, the 7 are chasing him. It's an absolute mess up there, but he did end up catching him.
It's great, and you were right about the Warhounds. That's super fortunate for him.
Yep, and then
Oh, I thought you cut out again. Sorry.
Nope. And then we have MrMeepo. I think he's doing that tactic. So he's taking the tactic that was used by Severus, where he has one guy on the south side where he's hoping that as they run in, they're going to follow him. He's going to lead them away from the rest of the group. We'll have to see how that actually commences, if that's going to work out in his favor. But rockprime just finished his fight down there, and finally, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Sherbert is still just kind of making his claim here. He's I don't know, it looks like might be a courier service type of guy.
And you know what? That's smart to do. They're usually pretty safe missions early on. You don't have to worry about ambush like you do mid to late game when you're on those armed courier missions.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you want to face something on the way to the town, you have the ultimate choice to choose that, and that could be very helpful as well. You kill a bunch of like right now he just has, what do we have here? We have 7 barbarians, and he's saying nope.
Nope.
Oh, they're saying
yep.
yes. So it's going to be interesting because the dogs, if he's not confident about this fight, and the dogs hold him in the fight, I think he's got the high ground though. This could actually work in his favor. Actually, I feel like this is a good thing. And he's taking those shots.
I feel like this should be a pretty safe matchup for him. He's going to have to worry about the barbarian flanking up top. He's going to have to break away from that dog and put some attention on that.
Yeah, a few good shots so far. It looks pretty good. We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be all right. It's just a matter of if these guys can pursue his backline. He really needs to get some more frontliners, even if they're absolute fodder. Just something to. I mean, if you find a 90 guy, you can't say no.
Absolutely, and you know, we just saw right there as you were talking, he lost a backliner to throwing axes. Then missed both shots in retaliation. That's not helping his cause right now, but minimal losses. Up top, you've got Meepo fighting in the forest, going against some thugs. And the battlefield does not look like it's really shaped out for the thugs in this one. Meepo's got a couple choke points he could take advantage of, and the high ground in the spots for those choke points. So let's hope he can really come away with a clean win here. Get a couple of those two-handers and some easy money in the bank.
100%. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. He actually moved the spear guy up on the hill there. This could work in his favor if he can spear wall the guys off from that corner. However, he is still using that tactic with the guy on the bottom. It just makes you wonder, like, when is the AI going to actually take the bait? Because if it doesn't take the bait, this could be a little rough. Because the one guy is wearing the sackcloth, so, and good thing he got that strike.
He's got some very ill-equipped brothers here for this matchup. He's gonna have to use the terrain as his means of winning cleanly.
Right. Well, and for Sherbert, he did end up winning that fight, thankfully. It looks like 1 loss on that one. That was the archer. But, you know, for what it's worth, it turned out all right. He ended up getting a few crowns out of it as well with a nice little trophy, or what is it called? The little figurines, so.
Oh, yeah, they're ivory figurine. Good sell.
I feel like one of the things
as long as you can get a good price for it, you should be able to get 300.
All right. Yeah, and I'm really wondering if they need to, if maybe the focus at this point, I'm kind of surprised them sticking in the north for so long. Yes, you can get these figurines and stuff, but the fights can get very dangerous quickly. Put you in a very bad spot. One reader.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There you saw Jauger did not want to take that caravan mission just for that reason I'm sure that you brought up. Right. How dangerous the fights are.
Yeah, and one Reaver can really change this. I mean, if you get caught with these guys with better skills, being able to swap in and out, use thralls to their advantage as well, it can be a very dangerous thing. I would definitely, if I had a suggestion that I can't obviously tell these guys, but I would definitely be looking at possibly getting out of the north.
Absolutely. I think for a lot of new players, when they get that expansion, fighting thralls for the first time is a wake up call because you're used to thugs, and the thralls, just the damage output that they have is so much higher in comparison.
Right. Yeah, and looking at it right now, we have ourselves. Meepo the guy with the sackcloth ended up dying, so now he's got to really rely on whatever he can. He might. Oh, it's gonna be interesting. The bait wasn't fully taken on this one. There is one guy going south, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it looks like he's just gonna engage at this point. Smart move to do. It's definitely the progression is gonna have to take a second. We're gonna have to see what does happen with this fight.
We've got Rock Prime down below with a caravan mission going against thugs in a battle, and it's again not looking very good for his frontliners.
No, but he does have. Let's see here. Well, with only 3 left, as long as he holds here, it's going to be fine. He just doesn't want to take any more or any losses. That was a good shot. Must have been a headshot. It's fantastic.
So hopefully he can recover that armor and get some decent clothes on these guys he keeps throwing into the meat grinder in the front line.
Well, yeah, when they're getting hit in the face like that, oh my, they better get something. He's got to get something out of it. But this is what I'm talking about with him. I'm very surprised. Rock Prime has just got that underdog mentality. I feel like he plays it. Of course, the caravan hands now want to come and help. That is the classic caravan hand. Oh, and stealing the kill. I would not be too hot about that.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Jager looks like he's thinking about taking on a barbarian encampment. This early could be a lot of cash in there.
Mm-hmm. If he's obviously confident enough. There's a lot of injuries. I wonder if he's going to wait a day maybe. Yes, it looks like that's what he's going to do. Really try to accumulate something. It isn't that many barbarians in the first place, so take your positives how you will. Looking at Meepo, it's interesting. He's very close to taking this one. You just hope that there's no counter effect to him being this close with his backliners.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got that choke point covered pretty tight. As long as he doesn't lose one of those spearmen, I think he'll come out of this pretty clean.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, with that being said here, I'm looking back at Jager. Jager is using... Oh, so he is using... I didn't bring this up, but he is using these throwing weapons to max proficiency. This is definitely a strategy that needs to be held on to, taking these guys on like this. This is a very, very strong way to do it. These throwing axes have just been... They have been hell, obviously, in the 2 tournaments, whether good or whether for the enemy or for the user.
Absolutely, and I like taking the throwing axes and using them against the thralls because not a whole lot of armor on them and very high damage on the throwing axes this early game.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I'm surprised that he's still got that brother in the front with his 2-handed axe, though. That doesn't seem like a Jager move this early. He's usually spears and shields across his front line.
Yeah, something's got to be given on that. I thought the same thing. Him sticking around with the 2-handed axe isn't as normal. It's very out of character, I feel like. But hey, sometimes you got to do different things. You got to try different things. It works out. Obviously, for him, it's working out just fine. At least it looks that way. He's gonna win this camp, no problem. But I want to say too, before we go into our 30-minute break here, I want to bring at least something in on Sherbert. Sherbert hasn't been doing much. I'll say that much. He has been taking on some of these fights. Obviously, he does have some good weapons. He's doing the switch around right now, just getting everything going on. I think it's kind of an underdog mentality going on here because he does have the equipment. He does have some trading resources. He may just be coming about this process in just a different way, right? Might be effective when it's all said and done.
And that's something that I like to see him taking this approach because he did crash and burn in a couple of the trial runs pretty quickly, and He's taking his time, building up a good company of brothers and trying to get some fair equipment on them. With that hooked blade in the back line, that's going to be a huge damage output that none of these other guys have yet going for them. I mean, the closest we've got is the Warfork on Rock Prime.
Right, and don't be surprised either. He's got that iron hook as well. Rock Prime does, but this isn't Rock Prime move. He always he will blow most of his crowns to get that real surefire damage wielding two-hander. He will definitely do it. He did it with the bill hook in one of our trial runs. So yeah, it's
day
cool
5 bill hook.
Yep, day 5 bill hook, and it was pretty awesome to see. All right, so with that being...
Oh, he does have a hook blade also.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yep.
Both of those guys, darn.
All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into Redemption. Can you give us an update on what you found so far?
I was actually just thinking about talking about Sherbert, and you actually stole the words out of my mouth. He's probably spent about half his run just stripping down his boys and reorganizing all of his equipment and then reattaching to everyone. Happens about every fight he takes. He'll get back out and he'll re-equip all his equipment. So I think that has been hurting him a bit. He is doing solid in kills so far, but he's definitely falling behind the curve in levels and kills. He did supplement his team with 10 brothers now, so he's sitting at most brothers for all the groups right now. Yeah, he's gonna have to start moving along if he wants to be able to catch up with the others in kills. MrMeepo has been in a similar kind of situation where he's really just been taking it very slowly, and that's something that has started to have him fall behind the curve. Really, if you're looking at Rock Prime and Jager are just flying through all their, they're running to different settlements, to fights, they're just flying through it, and Meepo and Sherbert have been taking their time, going slow about it, and it's starting to open up a little gap in the play. Meepo and Sherbert are only sitting at 3 settlements each, while Jager and Rock Prime are sitting at 5 each. And Meepo only has 12 kills, which is absurdly low for this point in the game. That's just about 2 fights. While JaugerPlays and Rock Prime, they're sitting at 25 kills and then 27 kills respectively. And in fact, Rock Prime, for starting over again, he's actually flying through this. And if he gets all the kills this fight, he's sitting at 34 kills already. So he is definitely the bloodiest contestant here right now. He is really making work on the kills. And so I think if he can hold on to that, he also is leading in the levels of his brothers. He can hold on to those 2 positions. He might be able to overcome that negative 4-point deficit he started out with.
It's incredible. I honestly had that thought though. I keep looking down at Rock Prime saying he has the best gear. He's becoming the more refined of brothers. He's gotten some lucky headshots, which gave him a lot of some of the better gear that he has. But he also took the risk of getting those pole arms, which is just, that's just part of it, But yeah, I'm very curious what is going to happen with Sherbert. There's so much good, but there's so much man, where is this going to lead us in the next 30 minutes? What do you think, Shinobi?
I'm going to have to disagree with Redemption on that front. I think that the reason that Sherbert's been able to swell his numbers like this is because of that ritual that he puts his brothers through that helps them bond after every battle.
Well, and let's see what happens in the next 30 minutes, guys. With that being said, we will be back after this break.
Grandpa, can you tell me a story about 2020?
2020. A story of adventure, brotherhood, and the purest love. I joined a mercenary band that year. Lost my foot to the diabetes, although people did think it was the lindworm. Finally, ended up mugging the love of my life.
Huh?
Yeah, I f***ed that melon so hard.
Oh my god!
Yep, the town was pissed, but I corked that melon something fierce, and I regret nothing.
Grandpa, what the f***?
Alright, so now that we're back, we have some interesting fights, some interesting progressions here. Let's start out with Rock Prime. He just got a really nice kill actually there on this brother down here, but he is facing a Reaver. Well, it's maybe just one Reaver. Reavers are deadly, simply put. Even if you have, even with the gear, he gets a few good shots on you, and it's going to be trouble. Luckily, everything looks to be going in his way, so far in his, yeah, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That headshot that he just got there on the Reaver was something I was going to bring up. If he can get a couple of those headshots on the Reaver, harvest that armor, and get him out of the fight, man, that's going to be key to mop up these last 3 thralls real quick.
And hell, he even has a dog out there too, which it looks like the dog's going to die here. But the fact that he had a dog waiting in the wings is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen dogs used in tournament play. I love them myself. It's an easy way to swell your numbers, prevent flanks, or rotate out of combat once you get that perk unlocked.
Yeah, and now we have, if we look cross screen here, we're looking at JaugerPlays and Sherbert. They both are facing the Noxiers, and it's interesting because, again, when you have a swelling of these type of beasts, it's a very dangerous fight, just for the fact that if they get on the dead, they just become stronger. Everything that you did to them prior doesn't really matter. Health is regenerated, so it's gonna be, yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. And obviously right there, Jauger just had one eat and get stronger,
and that's going to be a problem for him, seeing as he's at such a disadvantage in numbers compared to Sherbert down there with his 10 brothers.
Right.
I mean, Sherbert can fan out. He has options here. He can start covering those corpses after he farms the kill, as long as he's patient about it. Jauger might be in trouble here. Depends on if that two-handed axe, maybe that's why he's been holding on to it.
Yeah, one good licking could help you out quite a bit. Those throwing axes, I think, might turn into the MVP of this fight, to be completely honest, as he misses one, of course. But it does matter when it's all said and done. There's just so much. He used that attack very nicely. They're going to have to run into that spear. Hopefully gets another kill there. And Sherboyd, I noticed, Sherbert had jumped back two spaces, and to allow the Noxiers to come closer, engage combat in a more unorthodox way than they used to, I guess, is how you'd kind of look at it.
Right, and that's going to open him up to choosing where he wants to engage with his next moves. He gets to move one up, one left, and really pick the pace of the battle at this point. I would like to see him keep that going and move back maybe 1 or 2 more spaces to get on that high ground a little bit more, and make the Noxiers really come to him without being able to attack when they move in.
For sure. And it's gonna be, yeah, let's see what kind of, looking at it though, I feel like even though the odds were against JaugerPlays, he's doing all right. Granted that the one Noxier ended up eating that guy, but for what it's worth, I feel like he's still, obviously there's only one left. He's gonna be perfectly fine. He might take a few good licks, but otherwise, looking at Sherboyd though, this is interesting. When you have a lot of brothers, one of the sacrifices that can happen, especially early on, trying to speed run some things, you don't have the gear as much. You know, he sacrificed maybe gear for that hook, but it's tough. This is a really tough one here. If he takes a few more big shots to the body, it maybe lights out for some of his brothers.
Oh, it for sure is. And right now, if I was him, I would look to start spreading out damage as much as I could. See if I can get those morale checks. It's really going to work in his favor here. That was a good stun.
Oh, 100%.
So hopefully he can just keep the pace down here and get through this battle. I like it. He's not giving any ground. He is moving forward to cover the kills. So he's doing the right things in the wrong situation.
Right. It's you know, and one other thing too, at least with as many backliners as he has, maybe just shield walling and not even attacking. Just use you let your backline do what they're meant to do. You know, let them be the damage dealer. Let them be the ones that change this fight. They've got to be. Something has to give. And it is going to be an interesting fight going on. I will say, looking at Meepo, though, Meepo's been in this fight for a little while now. He took the high ground. He backed up, got the high ground, and slowly started eating away at these guys. However, most of the brothers that he has right now are range or pole arms. So it can still, unless he gets a morale check, this could get really ugly fast. We'll see what he
It could
does
still
here.
fall apart for him.
Yep.
That was a good
Ooh,
push.
It was a
That
good
a very
push,
good
but
move
I
there.
think he was expecting it to kill the guy. Unfortunately, here we go, and there it is. Yep. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's almost it's an interesting risk. The fall damage just wasn't high enough, unfortunately. But
But he does have the last 2 of them breaking.
Yep. And now looking back, Sherbert has. If you guys are wondering why I'm saying Sherboyd, he ended up having a name change on prior. He's gone back and forth with Sherbert to Sherboyd. So excuse me on that one if you do hear me say that. But Sherbert ended up getting those kills. He did lose one brother, but I think that was honestly the best outcome for the situation.
Absolutely, that could have catastrophically fallen apart for him with just a few swings from those Noxa hairs. And morale goes both ways in those fights. It doesn't take very long for them to drop a brother. They have a very high damage output for such a low caliber enemy.
Without a doubt. So let's see here where we're at so far. Why don't we talk to Sherbert real quick and just kind of talk about what was going on there. So Sherbert. So we just saw you end up facing those Noxiers, and it was a pretty darn close fight. We were looking at your frontliners there. You lost one guy. You could have lost easily 3, but it all worked out in your favor. What do you think about? I mean, how's it going so far? How do you feel?
I knew what I was stepping into. I wish that I had actually primed up a spear wall that I thought I could neglect, but I ended up being the weak point on my line. And as you can see, I'm missing that man, Mark, whoever that was, in between these 2 guys, and quite a few other guys came and beat up. But I'm having trouble with my tools, and I'm not able to recover my armor, and it's actually making some of those fights hard. I know a lot of players probably wouldn't take those fights anyways, but I'm finding a little bit of luck in that tight spot right in the beginning.
You know, gotta say though, Sherbert, with that fight under your belt, it looks like you're gonna be doing pretty good in the level department with all those level ups you got waiting for you.
Yeah, wish he didn't die, but what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, but otherwise, really good job so far. I mean, you're keeping it up. You're keeping everything you're doing is very consolidated. I think that's gonna work to your advantage in the long run. So definitely good job there, man.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see you at the end of the game. Good luck.
What's our time?
Right now we're at about 45 minutes. All right, so we're gonna move on from there then. Yeah, I think that I think I don't think it was a complete loss. Is where I'm gonna go with this.
Absolutely not. I mean, he came out of that fight. He got level ups out of it. His brothers are hurt. I didn't see what loot he could grab, but I'm hoping that he got at least some teeth so he can recover some money, get those tools that he needs, and get that armor repaired. I really like where he's going in this run.
Yeah, and that's really the big thing. Yes, the armor side of it, that becomes rough, but he knew himself. Like he said, he knew the risk that he was walking into, and sometimes you got to get that. You got to take them risks. It's just, and it's proved time and time again, like if it works, that's the whole point of risk, right? So, but it ended
Risk
up working
reward.
for him. Yeah, for what it's worth, like you said, he's doing the right thing in a bad situation, and really, that's gonna show when it's all said and done. I feel like.
Absolutely. And I don't think that the risk reward there was bad by any means with the level ups that he got out of that deal.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I would say is the armor. That's the only thing that I was worried about for him. Yes, you lose a brother. You're going to lose a brother. It's just how it goes. It's especially in a fight like that and the gear you have. But to have to know that anything you face and your health points or your hit points are exposed, it's just a dangerous situation to really be running through. Yeah, so right now it looks like rockprime is chasing some footprints at the moment. Who knows what that'll be? Might be the same type of fight. Otherwise, he
has made it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say sorry. He's made a good recovery and a good living out of hunting beasts on his bounce back. We've seen him take down spiders. He's been the only competitor so far that's done that.
Mm-hmm. And adding the dire wolves now to the trophy lodge. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think he was expecting them to attack him right there. He's like, not in the woods, not in the woods. But yeah, it's definitely. I think it's amazing. Like I said, he is the guy right now that I at this point in the fight. That's where I'd be putting my money is towards him. Even though he has the -4, something tells me he's in a very... I just feel like he's coming in with this confident steamroll going on. Who do you think right now is surprising you the most?
Right now, I'm going to go with Rock Prime's recovery being very surprising. I mean, it's a great bounce back. It's like, the underdog story, your Rocky Balboa, the guy that you can't count out no matter what, even though he started out down on his luck.
It's funny, we might be talking too soon. He just took a loss. He just ended up taking a dire wolf loss. Another guy has a split hand, but as long as he's gonna be fine. It'd be fine. It was an unfortunate setback, but I think he's doing just fine with what he's been given. I mean, really,
something I've noticed about this.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. What?
No, I was gonna say, something I've noticed about this competition so far is every time we start giving somebody praise or pointing out a specific thing, it just goes the wrong direction.
Right. Oh man. Well, with these dire wolves running here, let's jump in real quick and give him a quick chat, being that we're talking heavily about him. Rock Prime, we gotta ask you, man. You become the beast slayer of the bunch, and as interesting as it is and whatnot, how is it? How are you feeling about your turnaround here?
Infinitely better than when I first started, because I knew that things were going to go badly when I took a look in the first town and I didn't see a single pitchfork. And obviously since then I'm very much a huge fan of pole arms. So once I got my hands on this like 200, 300 crown hook, I am feeling much, much, much better.
Oh yeah, and I think it's showing in the combat side of it as well. And I think you just handled this night and day difference. I think the consensus at this point between us is you've made by far the biggest turnaround stride from your misfortunes. So definitely very, very fun to watch and also see how it's going to end up in the long run. Shinobi, what do you think?
I got to say, tip of the hat to you, Rock Prime, for cutting your losses early, just quitting out and firing it right back up. Didn't waste any time. It only let maybe 6 minutes get away from you, and I don't think that that's really going to be a huge detriment at the end of this game because you recovered so quickly.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope I can keep not disappointing.
Yeah, well,
But, hey, you did make it on the Wall of Fame for being the first man to ever be eliminated from the Pogo. You got the first restart ever.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll continue my my line of spectacular failures. Don't worry. We'll see how it works. We'll see how we do at the end of this.
well,
Records are records, right?
hey,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out at the end. Good luck as we keep going here. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
All right. So now, that's the thing. Like, I think the story of this so far, it started out with Rock Prime going through his woes. Then it became about Sherbert and just where is his company actually going? How is this scaling working for him? For instance, just gearing out his guys constantly after every fight. It looked really bad. He's starting to look really good now, but then you have yourself back over to Rock Prime and how he has just hit the ground running. These are the type of things that you look for. Not to discredit like JaugerPlays or Meepo. It seems like they've been doing their thing, making their way. You're looking at MrMeepo at day 6 still, 50 minutes in. It's quite it's very calculated in the head. It's got to be, and yeah. So you
got a lot of that map uncovered. Meepo has a lot of map uncovered.
Right.
I don't know the number on towns right now, but you know, these two guys are flying under the radar, and that could be very deceiving. Like Jauger, every time I look up, it looks like he's in the same fight against thralls.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't seem to be trying to get away from that, which is, I feel like the you and I both know it's a very unorthodox thing. Everything that we've seen today so far from Jauger. I don't know if it's a change of heart and strategy or what it might be, but we'll see. We'll have to see. I think it's a very dangerous road to be down at 50 minutes in, but. I mean, if he's gonna keep doing it, he's gonna win. Hey, let it roll.
You know, I gotta say, there's got to be something there that we're just missing. Whether it's the amount of antlers that he's collecting and selling off, or what. There's got to be something there. There's got to be a piece to the puzzle we're just not picking up. I don't want to count him out yet.
You know, it's kind of funny because when we talk about JaugerPlays, it seems like his brothers do better. Since we started talking about like his unorthodox strategies and some of the things that we're noticing about his gameplay, which hasn't worked, he just starts mowing these the barbarians down. So I don't know what's going on right now. It's
I've never in play. I've never seen Jauger with a lumberjack axe.
Yes.
Do you mind after this battle if we catch up with him and ask about that?
Yeah, definitely. We definitely.
He's out with it.
Yes, we can't jinx him. Apparently, he's unjinxable. So, yeah. So why don't we go and bring Jauger in? JaugerPlays, we have to talk to you now. We've been holding off. We've been watching your gameplay, seeing you just being a bully to these barbarians.
Bully.
Yeah. Like at one point, you know, you say to yourself, when do you want to get out of the north so you can start, you know, accumulating more whatever kills or what have you, not having to deal with the dangers of the world. Meanwhile, you're sitting out there saying, "Oh, I see 3 groups of barbarians. This one who comes and attacks you," and you just go ham on them. What the heck is going on?
Then I'm gonna go chase his friends down while their friends are following me.
Yeah.
You're a madman, Jauger.
I've been trying to get out of the north too. There's not much to do up here.
What do you mean you've been trying to get out of the north? Are you kidding me? It looks like you keep searching for the snow.
Yeah, right. I mean, living in sunny, humid Brazil, I figured that the snow would be welcome to you, and that's why you were hanging out.
Yeah. I do miss the snow. But, yeah, no, I was just planning on getting out of here, and they just keep appearing, so I might as well chase them down.
Yeah, the one thing, so we don't throw you off too much, because I know you're dealing a little bit of a tougher fight from the last one. How are you? How are you feeling about everything? And the other big question is, what's up with the two-handed axe guy? Like, I feel like that's just not your normal strategy.
We've been talking about it all game.
Oh yeah.
What is Jauger doing with that axe out? It's working, but I've never seen this in his hands before.
The Forester just showed up with it, so I thought, why not? Let's keep it going. It's working. So
he's getting cocky now. I feel like he's getting really cocky.
Oh yep. We gotta
just
let him go.
A little bit.
Focus on the battle, Jauger. You're taking some hits.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good luck as we go on, and we'll see you at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Oh man, we might have just jinxed the hell out of him. Well, keep your eyes up on that.
From unjinxable to jinx the hell out of. That's how we roll here at the Pokemon channel.
Well, as soon as we went and talked to him, he tried avoiding or semi-avoiding those barbarians, and sure enough, they caught him. But I'm just gonna. This could. Oh, that's a good one. Split hand. Good luck getting hit after that. And this guy with that axe. The guy with the axe is just going wild.
That brother has got to be the star of the show here. If he doesn't end up with at least top 3 most kills on that brother out of all the brothers, I'm going to be baffled.
Oh my gosh, I'm with you 100%. I do want to say, however, rockprime was in a very interesting fight with a bunch of raiders. Took them out, no problem. Still has all his bros. Some injuries, not that big of a deal. The guy is just accumulating the armor and not having to spend a dime.
Yeah, the chainmail. He got some chainmail out of the deal. You know, Meepo had a risky situation for a second, but morale check has sent him into just free kills up top.
Yes.
2 for 1 with his archer there.
I'm just worried he might be scratching the floor right now. Let's see what he has for food and. So yeah, Oof.
Let's check in with him, see how he's feeling about
Well,
this.
let's wait just a sec. Let's let him accumulate here. This might be a little bit stressful. He's only down to, what is that, 66 crowns now. So yeah,
Gosh.
we'll let him kind of. We're gonna be coming up on an update in 4 minutes here, guys. Who have we talked to everybody but Meepo yet?
We haven't talked to people yet.
Okay,
yeah,
so well, I guess. What's this quest? Yeah, so he's just delivering cargo if he accepts this. All right, so let's talk with Meepo now. I just want to make sure he's not in a where we're gonna make it any worse for him. So, Meepo, my man, how's it going? I was about to say, man, this has been one heck of a deal for you. I see. It feels like 1 minute you're starting to hit your high, and the next minute you're scratching the dirt looking for some coins that someone dropped. What is going on your end, man?
Well, I took a rough hit in the beginning, and since there, I've just been wanting to play it straight safe, keeping my strategy methodical, trying to just stay in there. I know I could score points. I know I could get on the board. It's just a matter of getting past this rough little stint I'm in.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
you can't score any points with dead brothers. You gotta just keep plugging along.
Well, do you feel like you're making any kind of considerable strides in just through progression at all, or are you looking for any kind of points?
I'm at that tipping point right now. If I make a wrong move or if I play wrong in this next couple days here, this is what's going to make it or break it. I got brothers filling roles that I want them in. I got some levels on guys. I'm feeling more comfortable taking missions where I have to go and kill, because that seems to be the only missions that I'm finding right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, just keep plugging away, do what you can do. I think you got a good band of brothers. You just got to keep them rolling about, and it looks like the levels are starting to come in. So, hey, there's a lot of time left. We're about to hit the hour mark in less than 2 minutes. So stay tuned and do the best you can. Utilize that last 30 minutes as best you can.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, risk it for the biscuit. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of, I mean, he pulled out fine. We got Jager. I want to say also that Jager made it through that fight. I was really nervous about it for him for a moment there, but yeah, I don't even think he lost somebody, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. He's just got some beat up brothers right now, some armor to repair, but he did end up getting 3 levels. Almost makes me feel bad for the little ghoulies.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, with Rock Prime just shredding through them, I'm surprised. He is truly the beast slayer of the tournament. It's incredible. Just a beast slayer through this one.
Yeah, all the other competitors, we've had a couple knocks of hair fights between them, but sticking to thugs, except for Jager with his barbarian fascination.
Yeah, I think when it comes to kills, just based on what I was able to see there, it looks like the kills are just from the opticals. It definitely looks like it's going to come down to JaugerPlays and Rock Prime, but Rock Prime, I don't know. They both are shredding through the competition. We are at the hour mark. So with that being said, guys, we're going to end up bringing in Redemption to kind of get a final gauge on where we're at this point. So Redemption, what do we have so far?
All right. So kind of like you were saying, this has been a very tough match in kills between Rock Prime and JaugerPlays. JaugerPlays is just about to lose his lead, as it looks like Rock Prime's about to finish his fight. JaugerPlays is sitting at 54 kills, while Rock Prime, if he finishes off these last little nebbers, he's going to be sitting at, hold on here, 56. And so, yeah, it's neck and neck right now between Barbarian and the Beast Slayer right now. So kills wise, that's what we're looking at. Levels are pretty well reflected. Jager has been struggling a little bit with maintaining his company. He's lost a couple brothers, or he's constantly dealing with injuries. Whereas Rock Prime, he's on a roll, and so he's been just mowing down everyone. He doesn't really have to replenish people after his fights, and so you'll see that he has a couple more levels over JaugerPlays in his run right now. And so I'm expecting it to be a pretty close finish there, like you were kind of anticipating. MrMeepo, yeah, he's been moving a little bit slower than, as I mentioned before. However, one of the key things he's been doing is he's been out and about, moving around the map, seeing what he can find. And so he's in the lead with the most settlements right now. There are some close contestants. I think Jauger is right behind him, but MrMeepo is still just chugging along with 7 settlements. Brothers, everyone's just been sitting right around 8 to 10 brothers. That seems to be a consistent thing for all the contestants. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
So at this point, it's kind of looking, just based on what you were saying, it really sounds like it's coming down to JaugerPlays and rockprime, which is interesting because, again, rockprime, even if they're close, and even if we can all sit here and say rockprime looks like he might come away with this if he keeps doing the right thing here, but again, that 4 negative points is going to definitely show at the end, and that might give the edge to somebody else. But again, we can't count out the last ones because it's not just about kills, it's not just about gear, it's not about, and even so crowns. I mean, if you could win both those categories and bomb out on all the other categories, that's only 6 points. So yeah, it's all deceiving.
Yeah, it's a big point because one of the things I'm looking for is someone to pick up some renown. I don't think anyone's caught on or finished an ambition yet. So that renown, that 3 points is up for the taking. I feel like someone could really just focus on getting down one ambition, and you're going to be sitting almost securely in first place for that category, I should say.
This is truly what I love most about this scoring system, is because even with Gordon taking so much of a commanding lead in the first cup, this is like such a wild thing, because you almost expect the guy who goes the fastest, the guy who gets the most kills, the guy who ends up with the most crowns, like that should be the winner. But you know what? Sometimes it comes down to other criteria. What do you think, Shinobi, about that?
First, I'd like to say tip of the hat to Redemption, man. You got the hardest job in here, and you're doing a great job with the analytics. But really, that is absolutely 100% correct, Buggo. Any of these guys can still clinch really any number of first place spots outside of the kills. Great point. Nobody's completed an ambition yet. Nobody's gone to the south and hit the arena again. There's still a lot of points up for grabs that any one of these guys could just reach out and take and really upset Jauger or rockprime.
It's insane. It's literally insane. Guys, if one guy goes to the arena and nobody else touches it, it is a 3-pointer. It's 3 points. Like, that's 3 freaking points. You know what I mean? I mean, literally, there's things that just aren't getting. There's just been a decent amount of neglect here. I mean, all it takes is just these simple things. Now, in terms of friendly relations, these guys are searching the map. Who knows? Who knows what it ends up being? It could be somebody you weren't expecting. It could be Sherbert. Sherbert's been not as rambunctious in the way of going across the land. If he was to take on that friendly side of it, boom. Nobody else really. I mean, maybe somebody gets the second points. Maybe he just dominates to the point where maybe like Meepo is going for that too. Who knows? Who honestly knows? That's the beauty of it. So, all right, a lot going
Absolutely.
on.
With all these metrics in place that we're counting, it's still literally anybody's game.
All right, guys. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break, and we will come back in a sec.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You are pulled from
All right, guys, we're back, and man, oh man, things are starting to twist a little bit. Only been gone for about 3 minutes on our end, and so far, these are what we've come across. You can see, we're starting with JaugerPlays. He has a 3rd tier Noxier, which isn't a big problem. I believe he killed one originally in the beginning, either that or it was rockprime. But then we look over at Meepo. Now, Meepo, we've seen this before. We have seen this before.
Is very familiar.
This is
the Wolf Rider and Meepo's run.
This has been his oh man, his kryptonite, I'll call it. Which it can be anybody's kryptonite. It's not even to say that it's, you know, but this can be devastating. And surprisingly, oh man, I'm like holding my breath here on some of these. If he can get that one to flee, I wouldn't even try to kill it because the goblin will get a chance. But it looks like he's gonna try. This is, oh man. But yeah, so in the past. Yeah, in the past he's had this fight, and I don't care if it's 3 goblins or not, 3 wolf riders. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. It can be a crazy fight. He needs to, oh man. He needs the hit. I don't know. I'm rooting
This is breaking my heart.
Yeah, I'm rooting for every guy. No matter what happens, guys, this is a non-biased commentary. We really want every guy to have that equal opportunity. This is just one of those fights where it can so easily go against you. It looks like he's trying everything he can to... There we go. That was a solid strategy. That might have been the game changer, but... Oh, man, it's so
I mean, yeah, this
close.
is so tense right now. The last time we saw Meepo doing a test run, I was sitting in, and this is what ended his day, was 4 Wolf Riders.
Yeah. And to be fair, just looking at I have it on the 4 screen at the moment, but I gotta say, you know, you can see the other guys, they're gonna be fine, so we're gonna keep an eye on this. This is, oh man, the missing shots. And of course, the caravan hands are hiding behind the cart. How about that? Does that not sound like the normal...
Well, you know, I really would like to see the caravan hands come in and steal some of these kills, because he might need it.
Yeah, he's going to need it. Anything will help. He's got one guy who's going to run. Okay, so there's
There
a
you
solid kill. So the one guy running isn't going to be the end of the world, but he has to get these morale checks. That one wolf rider is wavering. He's got to do something here. He can't knock him away. He does have that sword. Let's see. Oh man, he probably is going to lose. Sven might be a thing of the past. We're about to watch the history of Meepo's
The history of
run.
Sven.
It's amazing, like how insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. And this is one of those things where it's not that he purposely went or was looking to face these guys. It's just something that has burnt him time and time.
And literally, it's a caravan run every time. These goblins just come out of the woods and ambush his caravan and poop in his cereal.
Yeah, sorry, his one guy just dodged, and then the dog died. It looks like he's gonna be all right. I believe so. He could still lose somebody, obviously, but he did not lose Sven. I'm
So
truly
surprised.
shocked. I'm very shocked about this. And he's like, he's contemplating his shots here.
Jauger routed his nachos, took down the 3rd tier after it ate another one and healed up again.
Wow.
It doesn't look like he's coming out with any losses
Very good.
from the way the battlefield's shaping up.
And I did notice also, well, okay, yeah, so it looks like he's going to win against the goblins. That's really good. That was a little suspense there for a moment. To end a run at this point would be a little tough, but rockprime ended up going into a big fight against with the noble house to take on a bunch of raiders. Worked out greatly in his favor. He got more items. Look at this though. Another brain injury. Didn't take any. He only took 1 loss. Meepo did. That looked like the total opposite. It looked total opposite scenario right there.
No, it's like when we touched base with him. He said the next couple days we're going to make it or break it. And that fight right there was the one that could have broke it.
100%. And yeah. Wow. Oh man.
What a great time I'm having sitting in on this and being, This is just fantastic. I hope that everybody that's watching this at home is having half the time we are doing this for you.
You know, it's interesting too, because when you think about like the part that makes it great is that all these guys are competing. You got to understand that the blood is pumping. All these guys have no idea what the other guy is going through. And while you guys can probably already imagine, we are doing this on the Discord page. So if you would like to be a part of this, if you'd like to throw your hat in the ring, you don't have to be a superstar at this game. The idea, we're going to eventually, when we start getting a more diverse crowd, we'll do a beginner run, a veteran run, and a expert run, so people are getting their favorite gameplay out of it. We will end up having it where it's a true Iron Man run, when we do like the process of elimination through 16 players and have them compete against each other for the top crown. We'll have all kinds of other stuff added on top of that, and different unique runs that will put like handicaps to certain things. There's a lot of great ideas, guys, but we have to start somewhere. If you do like this content, you are sticking around at this point, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell, so you get this stuff right to you when it does drop, as well as hitting that like. That's a big part of this, letting others know this is unique, it's fun, and you can be a part of it. We'd love to see you. That's going to be a huge part of this as well. So hopefully we do. Hopefully see you around here sometime.
Absolutely, and reach out in the comments section. Let us know what you're liking, what you love to see. We'd like to see these guys get some fans here because they're great competitors. And like we heard from the first round, this is real competition. It gets the juices flowing. There is good anxiety when you're doing this.
With that, man, look at this. Sherbert is actually strong enough where now Raiders of 6 and 8 aren't even fighting him.
That's great, you know, and
that's
like
fantastic.
It's weird the way that we see things just shaping up and constantly evolving and unfolding here. I never would have guessed any of the stuff that we've seen.
Oh, for sure. Without a doubt. Yeah, and man, we talked about it before, but I'm still caught up on the metrics, Shinobi. The metrics of this is so unique to see where it's going to pan out, what people are going to end up with. We can all assume, and looking at somebody, say that they're doing the best. In our first competition, I honestly had said, I didn't say it on air or whatever, but I had a feeling that what was it? It was Severus or Service, or what was it? How did
Severus?
Severus, that's what it was. So Severus and oh man, I'm already losing names here. Gordon, yeah. So Severus and Gordon, I was thinking those two were, just based on what you could see, the consistency level and what was going on, I thought they were both well in the lead. But as we got to the very end, when I started seeing Gordon in terms of his numbers and stuff, I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know that it is going to pull out. And Severus, what is it again? Severus. Unless I'm looking at it, I can't say it. But Severus,
I know, it's a tough one.
Yeah. So Severus is one that I thought, well, he probably will take it. But in reality, Severus was fighting. He tied with somebody, and Gordon took the.
Baba.
Yeah.
With Baba, of all of the competitors, tip of the hat, Baba.
Yeah, and there were still points out there that didn't even get accumulated. So with the right strategy and understanding of time, you have a real chance in this tournament to do something.
And with the way that we've got things set up, we're not favoring any play style here. We're not favoring speedrunners or power gamers or guys that think that they've got a meta, because I don't think it's going to work here. And really quick, I want to say that I think that we should put Baba and Severus in our Hall of Fame for having the first tie in our first match ever. I didn't think that we were going to see ties with the way that we've got the scoring system laid out. There's just so many variables that it's really amazing that already came across our plate.
Definitely not, maybe not Hall of Fame, but definitely in the record books. We'll definitely put, we have obviously we talked about the records before with Despicable grabbing 2 of them right off the bat. But yeah, it's nice. Now look at this. This is interesting. Meepo is taking the final approach. He's got to know that he's coming down to the wire. There's 13 minutes left.
Here it is.
And yep, he ended up taking the long road south. He's going to grab himself 3 points. All he has to do is complete one of these. providing nobody else goes down to the south to take this on. I guarantee he had this in the back of his mind the whole time, that people just don't take this opportunity. And unless you start in the south, it's hard to imagine in an hour and a half going to the south in a competition where you're doing whatever you can for your overall company.
And really, guys, I gotta praise Meepo on this one. This is something that you have listened to Puggo and I talk about ad nauseum. Go get those 3 points from that arena.
Without a doubt. So we'll have to see. We'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, there's fights going on around the tiles here. Nothing that's absurd that they can't take on. You know, JaugerPlays has this strategy: hold them up, throw the axes, and cause some pain. They are starting to break through these spear walls. That's interesting, but sure enough, boom, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
It's the consistency, yeah. And then we have ourselves...
Boom goes the cutting axe.
Right. And then you have yourself rockprime at the bottom here. He's got all of his boys lined up, just holding the line and getting the kills. He's doing just fine. Good time to be facing him at night because he does have 3 different marksmen. I don't know if this was a quest, but if it's not, there could be a named item, and if that's the case, that's 3 points. If he gets a named item, technically you only got -3 or -1 point from that restart. What a
He's had what a great thing that would be. And he's had a lot of really good luck with his ranged attacks in this night battle. I'm wondering if it's coming from that brother they started with that has Night Owl.
All right, and let the games commence, guys. The first tournament ever taking place here. We have ourselves Meepo. He is going to be taking on the Naxirs, and it's going to be interesting because is his brothers up to snuff when it comes to these guys? I mean, there's only 3. He's got to... we're going to have to... We'll see what happens here, but...
I gotta say, Meepo, he did it. He's doing what he's been preaching to everybody this whole time. He's risking it for the biscuit. That's his thing, and he's doing it right now.
That is true. Looking across the board, though, a little more going on here with rockprime doing more. JaugerPlays is taking some hits, but he should be fine. I don't know. It's. Okay.
I gotta say, these 3 guys are just putting work in on these brigand thugs. It is a bad day to be a brigand on
Right.
the Puggo channel.
100%. So we do have a breach of the line with Meepo. I'm gonna keep an eye on this because this is a huge fight. This literally, it may not seem like much, but he has to get some kills here. Oh, a miss. Taking the easy kill, kills the other one. The problem is he has a brother sitting out in the open. This is it. Oh, look at that. So 9 lives. 9 lives just saved him. He's going to do a push. Oh, no. Wait. If he gets one more push. Wow, okay. So now his other brother can run. What a... Oh, no! No! The push...
Oh, no.
The push went against him. The push went against him. The push... I thought it looked good, but I didn't put into factor that the guy was going to run back, leaving that open. Oh, man, and so the thing's going to swallow one of them. I have a bad feeling he just lost this competition. You have to win. Oh, no.
Yeah, you have to win your fight.
You have to
one
win.
brother survive.
Yep, you have to win the arena in order to get these points. And my fear is that these are his best brothers. Oh, yeah,
no.
It is unfortunately over for the arena.
Yeah, so the way that we calculate points to figure the metric on the arena is we take your total number of arena wins across all of your brothers, add it together, and then, of course, first, second, third, and fourth from there. Gets 3, 2, 1, and 0 points. Sad day for Meepo, but I am so happy that he tried because it was going to take something like that to put him back into this race.
Right. Okay, we are going to quickly let them know. I'm going to let them know that there is 7.5 minutes. I'm going to say 7 minutes. These guys should dig it. Jauger, 7 minutes. Meepo, 7 minutes left. Rock Prime, 7 minutes left. Sherbert, 7 minutes left.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. Yep, I lost track of time there.
Okay. Got him muted now. Okay.
A
Well,
little bit
that's
of a mix-up there.
yeah. Well, that's how it works, though, right there. This is where it gets interesting. Once again, probably the best part about this might be the last however many minutes, the last 10 minutes, because then guys know, hey, you know, if I get caught in a fight, I got to be sure that I can win this quickly. I have to sell all my gear so I can get the total count of my crowns. If I don't make the sells, I don't get anything. Now, one thing you need to keep an eye on, I know that Shinobi, you kind of brought it up in the beginning. Jager has some unique ways of trying to game the system a little bit, and it's fine. It was designed this way to help people out. It's not a broken method. At least I don't see it as a broken method. It's how we want it to kind of shake out for guys to try.
Absolutely, you know, there's plenty of different ways that you can attack this, lots of strategies, and that is just one of them at the end game. Expect to see him try to start, as you can see, 7 minutes left. Jager's already stripping his boys like we were talking about, and he's going to try to game those days.
Yep, he's just simply going to sit there. He's going to buy some food or have enough food to last him as far as he can, and then he's going to sit and take what he's got, just leave it where it's at. So keep an eye on him. He's got that down. But the one thing that does hurt him is while he may get the days, well, let's see what days he's at. I guess that's where we should start. We have 15 on Meepo. Oh god, and there's the Meepo's getting chased by goblin riders again.
Oh my goodness.
This guy is a magnet for goblin riders. We definitely I don't even know. It's crazy.
You know, getting chased like this, though, good chance Meepo's going to run into some more settlements and really secure his place in that metric.
And if not, he'll get it in the days. So, okay, so JaugerPlays is at 12 days. So he's going to try to pump his days as far as he can. However, Rock Prime, this is amazing. Rock Prime is at 17 days when he had to restart.
I got to say, that is Gordon-level efficiency.
It's amazing. And you know what I think he's trying to do now? Notice how fast he's trying to go south?
I see something there. Yep, I think you're onto it.
Oh, there's desert there. That's interesting.
Weird. You know, what could be down here?
Who better could get the points to get that 3 points than Rock Prime, honestly. Because he does have such well-established brothers, and he needs this. However, the first town he goes to, he didn't get as lucky as Meepo did. I'm very curious where Meepo went for that. I didn't see, but I wonder where he went for the arena. I'm hoping he zooms out where we can see it, but yeah, I'm hoping he shows it again, but I doubt it because he's not going to be looking. I don't feel like he's going to be looking for it.
You know, Sherbert's in a battle with thugs and raiders. Good move right now. Not too many. Get one more battle in before you strip your bros and sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and so let's see. They have 4 minutes left. I'm going to let them know at the 3-minute mark here, 45 seconds. 45 seconds, man, it's interesting. Unfortunately for Despicable might have come out a little bit higher. Maybe he even would have gained the 10 points. He ended up with 9, which would have put him on a 3-way tie. Now that's pretty crazy. But
that would have been crazy.
Oh yeah, and the thing with that is he didn't sell all of his gear. He didn't have enough time to be able to do it. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to see what happens here.
I'm really glad to see Jager on the move. I was hoping that he would buy the lumber that was at his original town and carry that with him, trying to find more settlements and run up that clock, get those days going for him.
But what might be surprising for him, and I can tell you this, I think what's really surprising for Jager though is like he's at the end. He's at the end of his rope here. He didn't have one friendly town, which is a whole nother, you know what I mean? A whole nother deal. But hold on 1 second. Let me just let them know they got a three time here. 3 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Sorry guys, we got to do this meticulously. 3 minutes left. However, if you would like to be a part of this, guys, like we are looking for a team to help us behind the scenes. 3 minutes left. So we would like to get more help behind the scenes. Obviously, we have Redemption trying to do what he can for scoring. We did end up having Meepo in our last run going behind the scenes for scoring as well. But we are definitely up. If you guys would like to help out, yes, we don't have like a, nobody's getting paid to do this, obviously. It's a community effort thing. But if you would like to contribute, by all means, you guys can let us know when you do end up joining the Discord. So, yeah, it comes down to this last bit here. Jager's in an inch. What I was going back with Jager is I think he might even have been surprised how many crowns he actually had. He only has 1,900 crowns, and I know in the past he's been in a different position, and he's officially done here. 14 days. He didn't stick to his strategy, which I'm very surprised by.
Absolutely. With Jager, usually I'm used to seeing close to 4,000 crowns at this stage in the game and way closer to 20 days. I'm not sure what happened in the run because, as I said earlier, every time I looked up, he was putting in work on barbarians, and maybe that's where he went wrong because they're not very lucrative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just not your common JaugerPlays run. It's just not. And but I do want to say also, guys, if you guys would, he is a YouTuber as well. He does have his own channel, JaugerPlays. Do check that out on YouTube. You can check out his content. He does a lot of like board game stuff. He's very like he plays obviously Battle Brothers, but board game is part of it too. I think he's trying to push the days even farther, even with no. He better not. Hopefully he doesn't lose his guys. He's doing everything he can, but he just went down 100 crowns. Was it really worth it? Is the question. I just don't know that it was worth it, and you're only
maybe
at 14 days.
Given up on the crowns metric since he saw that he was less than 2,000.
But what does he gain at this point? What is he going for? Do you try to?
That's a good question.
But then where do you make up those points? It's very interesting. I feel bad for Sherbert. We haven't said a lot to him, but to his side of it, there hasn't been a crazy deal that has been going on. But here we're going to be stopping him. It's official, guys. We are timed, so we're going to undeafen everybody. All right, everybody. An hour and 30 is officially up. Please pause your game. And that is where we're at. So with everybody being paused now, we're going to officially go into the scoring metric side of this. And we're going to see you guys in just a second.
Paid Shadow Peasants, bringing you the absolute best in free-to-play, pay-to-win, coming to a Switch near you. Feel like a loser every day? Living a loser life with loser peasants, pay to win. Throw some dough at it. Better gear, better stats, better dress-up stuff. 500 million downloads or something. Better paid Shadow Peasants.
Alright guys, welcome back. We are now officially finished with the scoring. We have our 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and of course, 1st place all set up. Without further ado, Redemption, who came in at 4th place?
So for 4th place, we have MrMeepo with 6 points. So Mr. Meepo, he was an explorer, but struggled a little bit combat, especially towards the end. That kind of knocked a lot of his points off the map, as well as a failed run arena that just, the combat just hurt him too much to really get any higher. But like I said, he was a traveler, and so he found crowns in categories outside the combat. So Mr. Meepo was sitting at 4th place. 3rd place, we have JaugerPlays with a total of 10 points. Jager was one of the big fighters of all the groups, and he placed pretty well respectively within that. Whether it's levels, number of brothers, kills, he did a great job in all those categories. However, it wasn't as efficient as some of his other competitors. Just fell short barely of the next 2 competitors. So JaugerPlays sits at 3rd place. 2nd place, we have Sherboyd at 11 points. Another one of those who just, he was doing a fair amount of killing, didn't move around the map near as well as the rest. However, he did stockpile a massive amount of gold, and he was a renowned king. He also, I guess that was where he kind of edged out JaugerPlays by 1 point, was just a little bit in the renowned category and still having somewhat similar results in combat. All right, and so that, of course, leaves us with Rock Prime for first place with a total of 17 points. And yes, that is including the -4 point penalty that he received for restarting his run. Rock Prime was a bloody combatant who just hit a bunch of top respects for a bunch of different areas that ended up accumulating a bunch of points for him. He had the most days, he had top tier renown, the most brothers, the most levels. Gold was fine. Settlements, he didn't forget to travel and go search out those settlements. He had the best kill scorer, and then he also was the only contestant to go out and find bonus points with a retinue character. He ended up buying one. And so all in all, he had a total of 21 points. But of course, because he restarted, we had the -4 from there. So Rock Prime is your first place champion for this tournament with a total of 17 points.
So let me get this straight. Had he not have restarted and he had that run, he would have had 21 points.
Yep, that is.
My God. You know, when we were going through the point system, the number one, like we had this big discrepancy on negative points for starting over, that it would probably hinder you to the point that you wouldn't earn first place. But this, in the second tournament, is definitely beyond expectations of what I think we had originally thought could even happen. We thought maybe second place would be the realistic path for somebody who had to start over. Granted, it was the first 5 minutes, but still, to have to overcome that type of adversity is unbelievable. Shinobi, anything you want to add to that before we talk to him?
I mean, that's a Cinderella story. We got the comeback kid right here. He cracked under pressure the first time, steeled his resolve the second time around, and, you know, what's 5 minutes when you're Rock Prime, right?
I mean, yeah, pretty much. So let's lead it over to Rock Prime. Congratulations, man. This was truly, more than likely, the unexpected thing to have happened. But anything you want to say to that? I mean, any thoughts or anything?
Pole arms, baby. Pose whenever you're in doubt, buy pole arms. It's like during this run, I knew that that my particular run was probably screwed from the beginning, because I went to the first town, didn't see a single pitchfork. Restarted, found a pitchfork and a hook at the first level. So at the first group of things to be sold. And once I get a couple frontline brothers with a couple pole arms behind them, you can just make mincemeat of pretty much any group of enemies that you fight in the early game, which is, I think, why I was able to be so efficient on kills.
Did you ever think for a second that you were going to end up in first? Like, did you think it as a possibility?
Oh no! When I first had to restart, my first thought was, well, okay, whatever. So it's like, guess I'm not winning. And then from that point on, I just kind of kept playing the game just to see what would happen.
I gotta say, you came back as a man possessed. You really had a fire and went through very efficiently, hunting down beast after beast after beast. I mean, we lost track. Puggo and I were talking about that you are the beast slayer of the run. Everybody else was fighting brigands and barbarians, and you were the only person I've seen fight spiders thus far in competition. So tip of the hat to you. I'm not a big fan of spiders.
So I think the reason why is because I was thinking that since levels is one of the big categories, I don't know if you saw a lot of my guys, but I think like over half of my guys has student. And so once I kind of committed to the student track for a bunch of my guys, it just becomes a question of fight anything that you can see that seems even remotely beatable, which is why like so many of my brothers ended up at level 3 and 4 in the end game. And normally I don't like fighting web necks when I'm playing casually, but time running around the map is time that I'm not fighting. So I'll take even those fights that I normally don't like direwolves or web necks or stuff that's generally not as profitable.
Right on. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, man. And hey, underdog, straight up from where it started. I mean, we're looking across the board. Everybody looked like they were really starting to establish a solid bond or a band of men, and you just came back with vengeance. So congratulations. You are the second person to win the tournament, of course, and that'll definitely go down in your scorecard. But with that being said, guys, we're going to open the floor and just kind of get everybody's perspective. I want to actually throw over to Sherbert real quick. You were the silent cat of this whole thing. We literally had sat there and we were watching, and the suspense of everybody else that was constantly going on, whether it was the direwolves for Meepo, the dangers of coming back and trying to do it in a longer stride for rockprime, or Jager just non-stop coming across barbarians. You stood the course and still ended up in second place and was incredibly competitive in that way. How do you navigate through that? Like, what were you thinking there?
I was definitely trying to be a little bit conservative. I look at this Iron Man challenge. I'm very, like, after hearing the results, I'm really surprised because I would have expected a reset to at least like drop you like a little bit closer to second, but this guy was like leagues away from even where I was. And yeah, I guess like if I had to I guess the good things that I did was I think about the basics, which probably got me through to second place. Otherwise, I mean, I wasn't that much further ahead of Jager either. I do think that I made a mistake by staying in the north. I didn't realize that poachers started off with cold relations. So if I had gone further south and try to get into some arenas, which are, in my opinion, pretty risky business for archers, like I don't know, maybe I would have had better luck. But yeah, I was still pretty far away from I think I had like 11 points or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, no, the 21 points is a pretty big leap ahead of that.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, and this is why we say know the origin, because it's going to be randomly selected. Know where you're at, get a gauge of the map. The first thing I saw Meepo do was he zoomed out to see where he was on the map, and I thought that's a great way to start your navigation, because at this point, to get a friendly settlement, if a guy had a friendly settlement or two friendly settlements, here he gets 3 points. If one guy goes down and wins the arena one time, that's 6 points. If at 11 you guys tie, and then it comes down to your it just comes down, the tiebreaker, which is your final score, which by all accounts sounds like you may have won that category. So you easily could have won had it been just two little things. And that's the thing, like at any point this all can change. So yeah, now I'm going to open up the floor to really everybody there. Jager, Meepo, what do you guys, as a whole, all of you guys, how did you feel about this tournament and what you were going throughout?
I had a blast. I mean, it was there were a few things that I rarely do. For instance, having the throwers or hybrids. I picked up some throwing axes pretty early, and that ended up being pretty helpful throughout the entire throughout the whole days, throughout the competition. When I picked up the Forester, the very first day, I found a Forester that was kind of expensive, but he came in with a two-handed axe, and that guy was just my beast. He ended up with close to 100 health, and he had 17 kills. That guy, I want to carry him into my other campaigns, but man, it was fun. I'm very surprised at how far rockprime got ahead of us, even with that penalty. But yeah,
I want to say really quick, the whole time Puggo and I were watching you, we were talking about how this was not a typical run for you. You were doing a lot of things different. You were branching out. You were trying new things. What really led you to get away from the bread and butter that we've seen from you in the test runs?
It was just adapting to what I was given. When I picked up a spear, I used it. When Dirk there started with the two-handed axe, I just found that I had enough guys on the front line that I could sneak him in between a couple of guys and maybe use it, and it really paid off in the end for that one guy anyway. But
Right
Yeah,
on.
man, I threw a lot of 9 lives on these guys.
Yeah,
And you know what?
I
It's
did see
funniest
that.
thing is it only procced like 3 times.
But I did see towards your, I think it was your final fight, you did have one proc and it saved your brother.
Yep.
I was like, yep, that's perfect. That's where you want it. But yeah. So anything else you guys want, or anything else you got to say, Meepo? What did you think about the competition? How did you feel about it?
Being a part of it was amazing. I was definitely feeling the time fly by, getting nervous. I'm like, I have to do this and this, and just under the pressure of even the different map seeds, the random map, the unexplored map, and getting my bearings at the beginning, like you mentioned, was huge in trying to navigate, because I knew I wanted to hit up the arena. I thought I was ready, and as you will probably notice, I did risk it for the biscuit, and it bit me literally.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else though, Sherbert Rock Prime? You got any final thoughts with this whole competition thing?
I mean, you know how I go, Pluggo. I don't lose ever. So if any, I'll take on any Battle Brothers, any Battle Brothers veteran at the next tournament, and I'm very much looking forward to see who my competition is, so that I can outscore them. So I am very much looking forward to my next victim. But
I
so
have a
thank you
feeling
for
like Rock Prime was the guy sitting there playing this round with his WWE Championship replica belt on the whole time.
Sweating to death in his chair because he's nervous. Hey, I'm glad to hear it, and that makes for good, more competition later on. So yeah, last thoughts. Anybody else? Okay.
You haven't seen the last of the Sherman later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
just want to thank you for putting on the I just wanted to thank you for putting on the competition. I think I can speak for everyone when we said this is a lot of fun. We look forward to doing it in the future.
For sure. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, then that's gonna be the wrap up there. Please hit that like, subscribe, join the Discord, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.